supposed to be having a fiesta!
My international amigos of Spurs Nation, wherever you are in the world, go Spurs, go. A rowdy go Spurs, go to you. Countdown City, San Antonio, what's up? Shout out to the Riverwalkers and everyone at Fiesta. Hope you guys, or that went to Fiesta. A big que paso to the Countdown City, San Antonio, Alamo Dome, loop to loop. What's going on, Spurs Nation? I am your host, Rob Trejo Jr., and this is Spurs Film Room Live. All right, guys, today, what we got going on, we're going to do a full draft lottery preview. Okay, so go Spurs, go. Thank you guys for watching. It's those of you guys in the chat. What's up? Today, we're doing a full draft lottery preview. We're going to talk about who's in the lottery, what's at stake, what picks might be swapped for each other. We're going to talk about some of the top prospects in this draft. I've broken them down into a few tiers, right? Into 3 tiers, matter of fact. And then we're going to go ahead and kind of categorize and kind of group these players into these tiers. And we're going to do all that and more. But before we do that, reminding you guys that we are chipping away at some summer goals. We're crawling our way to 2,000 YouTube subscribers. We're about 5 away from 1,500, right? We're trying to reach these goals by August 7th. So we have the whole month of July to grind together, Spurs Nation. Smash that like button. If you're feeling this episode, smash that like button. If you chant, go Spurs, go. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. We're also trying to reach 200 Patreons, and the snowball has started rolling. It's still small, but it's rolling. The momentum is behind it. When you become a member for the Patreon, just reminding you that you get perks to this show, access. You get to submit questions via voicemail, videograms, emails. You get merch discounts, and biggest, coolest thing of all, out of all the levels here, that doesn't matter what level you are, whenever we do a giveaway, you are going to be entered all the time. And we're going to try to do a giveaway at least every 2 months, right? So this month, the giveaway, we got Valley Artist 66. Look him up on Instagram. He's going to be doing a original Spurs painting for the Patreon members of this channel. So shout out to all my Patreon people. If you're not a Patreon member and you love this channel and you want to support this channel, you want to get in on some behind the scenes perks and access, you want to get involved in the show, you want to, drop your questions and things like that, reminding you guys, you can always go to Patreon to do that, and you get automatically entered into the giveaways, no matter what level you choose. The link is in the description below. Check it out. All right. Now, let's get on with the show. The best dang Spurs show on YouTube. That's right, I said it. If you like Spurs film room breakdowns, you're in the right place. If you like talking Spurs and getting that Spurs comment and question and thought, whatever it is, frustration off your chest, you think you know better than me, let me know in the chat. You're in the right place. I appreciate y'all stopping by Spurs Film Room Live. We try to go live Mondays and Wednesdays, and I have content coming out for you guys pretty much every other day of the week. So thank you. You guys are in the right spot. You're hanging out with me. Appreciate it. If you like podcasts, if you're like a podcast jam person, Apple, Spotify, look me up. Wherever you get your podcast jam on, we're probably there. So if you can't sit in front of the computer screen for a long time, but you want to get your Spurs content fix while you're doing something else at the gym, cutting your grass, whatever it is, download the podcast, rate it 5 stars. I really appreciate you guys for stopping by. Okay, guys. Now, let's get right into it. Just a reminder, if you want to get your comment and question on the screen, you can always do that by dropping a tip with your question via the YouTube Super Chat, or go to the tip jar link in the description below. The lottery is tomorrow. The lottery is tomorrow, everybody. Me and the guys at OOC, those of y'all that don't know, I'm a partner at Order on the Court. Look them up on YouTube. We do after the buzzer post-game shows during the season. We do watch parties during the season. So that's where I go, and me and a couple other guys that do Spurs content, we get together and we have watch parties. Well, guess what? Tomorrow we're going to have a watch party for the lottery. I'll go ahead and put that link in the description below. I don't think it's there right now live, but if you're watching this post live, it'll be there. Just look up Order on the Court and you'll find the channel. We're going to do a watch party during the live lottery tomorrow. We're also going to have a draft watch party too, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so what I got for you guys today is something a little special. I've been working on it for the past few days. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right here. Go ahead and made a little presentation for you guys using Prezi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Prezi, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have my pre-lottery big board, right? What we're going to take a look at today is who is in the lottery. We're going to look at those teams. Then we're going to look at what we need to know concerning a few of these teams. What are the stakes involved here in the lottery tomorrow, and what trades have gone down to kind of cause those stakes to be made, right? Then after we look at those two things, we're going to take a dive into a player breakdown, right? I've categorized these guys, kind of grouped them up. So we're going to take a look at what teams have a shot at getting certain type of players, right? So we're going to go ahead and keep it moving. So who's in the lottery right now, according to Tankathon, right? Like it's just organized by record. These are the teams that you're looking at: the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons, the Orlando Magic, the Toronto Raptors, the Cleveland Cavaliers. These are not in any particular order, right? I'm going to go ahead and show you an order in a little while. The Spurs, the Hornets, the OKC Thunder, the Indiana Pacers, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Golden State Warriors, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have something going on. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. And the Sacramento Kings. Okay, now what do we need to know about these teams? There's some stakes involved, right? Let's look at the bottom first. Chicago, when they traded for Nikola Vucevic earlier this season, they gave a protected first-round pick to the Orlando Magic. So the protection on Chicago's pick is top 4, right? That's going to be a common trend that we're going to see here in a second, right? So if Chicago does not get a top 4 pick, which I don't think they are, they weren't that bad, right, of a team this year. So that pick is most likely going to go to Orlando in this lottery tomorrow. So if Chicago does not get a top 4 pick, Orlando's going to end up with 2 lottery picks this year. Good job for Orlando. And that's probably what's going to play out, barring some type of, like miracle odd thing happening. That's why I kind of feel like Becky Hammond to Orlando is not that bad of an idea. They're going to have some draft picks this year. They're going to be able to do a lot of stuff. Okay, so the next thing we got to know is that if the Minnesota Timberwolves do not get a top 4 pick this year, their pick is going to Golden State. In other words, if Minnesota gets the 5th pick, the 7th pick, the 9th pick, the way the ping pong balls fall, that's just the way that it goes down, which they're kind of projected to be 5 or 6 in the lottery, right? So most likely that pick is going to be transferred over to Golden State. Now, again, this is before the lottery, so we're going to find out how all this shakes out tomorrow on the lottery. Again, make sure to go hang out with us at Order on the Court. We're going to be doing a watch party during the lottery. And then on Wednesday on this show, guys, I'm going to be doing a mock draft, the first mock draft of the channel for this year with Harrison Murphy, who's also one of the co-hosts here on Order on the Court. So what does this all mean? That Golden State might end up with two lottery picks, and Orlando will probably end up with 2 lottery picks. All right. So that's probably how the ping pong balls are going to fall. There's some stakes here. Now, it might happen. It might not happen. So we'll find out tomorrow. Okay. So let's look at some of these players I have broken down for us. Let's look at the tier 1 players. Now, when I'm looking at this year's draft, I see about 5 of them. Okay. Now, 5 tier 1 players that I feel like are going to get decent NBA run. And if they get NBA run, they're going to end up being better than most. Okay. So I have Cade in no particular order. This is not how I feel the draft is going to go. Okay. I'm just telling you, this is my tier 1 group. And that's Cade Cunningham. That's Evan Mobley. That's Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green, and Jonathan Kuminga, right? So these guys are the guys that I feel are going to go top 5. So what teams out there might end up with these guys? You got Houston, Cleveland, Orlando, Minnesota might have a chance at that. So I put that asterisk here. They might have a chance at one of these guys. Oklahoma City, or I don't know if I said Detroit or not. Those are the guys that are going to end up having a chance to take home one of these tier 1 prospects. You guys let me know if you agree with me in the chat below. Go Spurs go. I see a lot of you guys are putting stuff in the chat. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Now, once we get past this tier 1, let's look at tier 2 in this draft. In my opinion, right, we got guys like Scotty Barnes, Moses Moody, Josh Giddey, Usman Garuba, Corey Kispert, Davion Mitchell, and Keon Johnson out of Tennessee. This is most likely where the Spurs are going to end up. Go Spurs go. Those of you guys are chanting it in the chat. I see you guys. Go Spurs go. Go Spurs go. The draft is tomorrow night, I believe at 7. So 7 to 8 o'clock is where you can catch the watch party. Those of you guys that want to know. This is most likely who the Spurs are going to be looking at if we're looking at best talent available, right? So if we go back and look at the top tier, those are guys that have star potential, that can lead a franchise, that can actually put a team on their back. Any of these teams above here and are going to be heavily involved from the get-go and rightfully should be. Now, these are all guys that I feel can come into any team and make an impact if they're on the right team, I should say. Like Scotty Barnes, first off, and Moses Moody. Those two guys I feel can be pick number 5, 6, or 7 in this draft. But they're going to come in automatically in day 1 and make your team better. Josh Giddey can change a franchise. I see a lot of Tyrese Halliburton's game in Josh Giddey. And I think the shot and everything, the defense, the strength can be worked on over time. Usman, right? Usman Garuba, that dude is just a double-double waiting to happen. Think Montrezl Harrell. Think someone who gets after it, Draymond Green. He has a lot of potential to be an impact type of guy who can come in rookie year and make a difference. And then you got Corey Kispert, who's probably the best shooter in this draft, right? So Corey Kispert might be available somewhere in pick 6 through 12. Now, also you got Baylor's Davion Mitchell, who's a little bit older than everyone else, but is super strong, super fast. We saw what he did in the NCAA double tournament, the NCAA March Madness tournament, taking that thing home. He's a stud, right? He's just he's older than everybody. He's going to be bigger, stronger. He can come in day 1 and make an impact. And then Tennessee's Keon Johnson. I'm sure I'm saying that right. Keon Johnson. Every time I look up tape of this guy, he's one of the toughest defensive dudes that I've seen on tape. And he has explosive, underrated athleticism. So he has a huge upside. He almost fell down off of this tier, but when you look at what he does on both ends of the floor, it's a no-brainer. Keon Johnson is the type of guy that if a team likes him at pick 6, 7, I don't see why not. I don't see why they don't take him if they're looking for help in the guard position. Now, again, these are kind of like best player available tier, right? So we have the top 5. Again, let me go back. The top 5 players in this draft, in my opinion: Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green, and Jonathan Kuminga. Now, in no particular order. I think all those guys are going to be studs, just given the right opportunity. Then we got all these impact players that are going to come off the board in the next 6 picks, right? As soon as this happens, next 6 or 7 picks. Now, the Spurs are going to be maybe projected pick 12, right? And we're hoping for a miracle to happen. And we're going to run some simulations on Tankathon in a little bit here on the show and see exactly how many times we have to simulate a draft before something good happens for the San Antonio Spurs. But they're going to be looking at hopefully taking, in my eyes, if we're taking home one of the best players available at pick 12, it's going to be one of these dudes right here, Spurs Nation. So keep your eye on this board right here, and then we'll come back and look at it. Next, the next tier below that, picks 13 through 17, in my opinion, those are these guys, right? These are the guys that have a lot of developmental upside, right? And those in here, you have this is late lottery, so you have Golden State and the Indiana Pacers, who are going to be picking around 13 and 14. Now, I don't know who's going to go 13 and 14, but these are the guys that are kind of next up. And, some of these guys might go higher. Again, it just kind of depends on which team that is picking, what do they value, and what are their core beliefs, and what do they feel is important to their squad at that moment. And everyone's different, obviously, right? All these teams in the NBA, they draft differently. They have different values, right? Spurs value character, I think, above most, right? So You never know. All right, but we have Alperen Şengün. I probably misspelled his name. I'm sorry. Alperen Şengün, Franz Wagner, Kai Jones, Jared Butler, and James Bouknight. Obviously, the first one, Sengun, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I've seen his highlights. He's a big guy that has a lot of feel for the game and just needs time to develop. I don't think the Spurs are going to take a risk on him. Then you have probably considered one of the top 5 shooters in the draft at Franz Wagner. He's a great shooter. I know that, he played very well this season, so he knocked a lot of them down. Kai Jones, athletic freak, man, who can jump out the gym and who's still very raw and has a lot of potential, a lot of upside from Texas, Kai Jones, right? I know a lot of San Antonio Spurs fans want the Spurs to select him, but again, I think that Kai is going to fall late lottery, maybe 15, 16. I think that's where he's going to fall. I think there's still way more potential on the board at pick number 12 for the San Antonio Spurs to take a risk right now on Kai Jones. And then you got Jared Butler that played for Baylor as well, and James Bouknight, who created a lot of offense over there for UConn, right? These are the guys that, given the right amount of time, OKC type teams, I'm you know what I'm saying, can snag some of these guys and maybe turn them into really good, solid NBA players. But that's my breakdown of the draft. Okay, so the lottery, and that's tomorrow. Okay, so this is my lottery big board right here. Okay, so again, let me just blow this up a little bit before. I got 3 tiers, 3 groups of players. This is my top 17 guys I feel like are going to go in the draft. The San Antonio Spurs, we're looking at this middle pack right here and seeing what we can get there. Now, okay, now I'm going to stop this sharing that screen really quick. And I'm going to share Tankathon. We're going to go see what's up with Tankathon, so I can show you exactly how I'm breaking down my preview here. All right, so a simulator for the 2021 NBA Draft Lottery here at tankathon.com, right? It's organized right now. Let me reset this, make sure I didn't change it. All right, it's organized right now by the worst record, right? Houston, 17-55, Detroit, 20-52. Remember when Houston came into San Antonio and whooped us on national TV? It was like Christian Wood's breakout party, right? That was embarrassing. All right. So, just goes to show you how bad they really were. We just did not come to play in those games for San Antonio. Then we got a team like Orlando at 21-51, Oklahoma City, Cleveland. Now, so we're talking about those tier 1 guys. That's what I'm saying. These are the ones that are projected most likely to end up with that top tier talent. Now, again, if Minnesota falls out of the top 4, like we were talking about earlier, that pick is going to Golden State. Right. And then we got teams like Toronto, Chicago, who had a 31-41 record. This is why they're most likely not going to get a top 4 pick. Right. Most likely Chicago is not going to end up with this draft pick. At the end of the day, it's going to go to Orlando, and Orlando is going to end up having 2 draft picks here. Right. And we got Sacramento, New Orleans, Charlotte, San Antonio, Indiana, Golden State. That's your lottery right there. Now, if I run over here, if I scroll down and click simulate lottery, it's just going to give us a random simulation of what's going to happen tomorrow. So when I click it right here, it projects that Oklahoma City goes home with the number 1 pick, Houston, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So this is just a simulation. San Antonio, in this, let's see what happens to San Antonio when we run this simulation about 5 to 10 times. All right, just so we can kind of get an idea of what might happen tomorrow. Because if you look over here on the right hand side of your screen, let me see. Let me scoot this over a second. Here we go. All right, so top 4 percentage, right? So if you look at these teams right here, let me reset this. All right, so the first 3 teams here have a 52% chance to get a top 4 pick. You want to look at the Spurs, 8%. So that's what the Spurs are working with tomorrow to jump up that much, right? A 1.7% chance for the Spurs to take home the number 1 pick, right? So that's even slimmer. But let's run this simulation a few times. So if we run it once, San Antonio still at 12. Let's run it again. Still at 12. Let's run it again. Still at 12. Nothing's changing here. Oh, okay, here on the fourth one. On the fourth simulation, San Antonio jumped up 8 spots here. And that 8% chance, it paid off, right? So it's not impossible, right? Let's run it again. Back at 12. Back at 12. Back at 12. Still at 12. Yeah, no, yeah, we're still there. Still at 12. Look, okay, so I've run this simulation about 7 to 10 times. You know, once maybe we moved up and actually climbed up some spots. So most likely, Spurs Nation, tomorrow during the lottery, the Spurs are going to walk away with the 12th pick. Now, that's where you would put your money. Now, if you're a gambling man, shout out to Frenchie Betts. Shout out Patreon member Frenchie Betts. Glad you're able to join us today. I'm going to give you a shout out on the ticker on the bottom of the screen in a little bit. And shout out to Sean Kelly. Appreciate the tip, my man. Appreciate you. If you want to support the show, you can always head over and check out our Patreon as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Yeah, so most likely, Spurs Nation, we're going to be walking home with that 12th pick. Now, there's a small chance. There's a slim chance that a miracle happens and we end up climbing up the board and getting a top 4 pick, maybe top 5 pick, but most likely we're going to be drafting at 12. So I wanted to get on here and just give you guys all the information that I think you needed. So we're going to take a short little second here to talk about some stuff, and then we'll get right back.
Isn't we supposed to be having a SFR?
Just reminding you guys, if you want some official Spurs gear, check out the links in the description below to Fanatics and Rally House. They'll send you straight to the Spurs shop on their website, and check out all the Spurs merch that you can there. Also, if you're going to be going to an NFL game coming up soon, a baseball game coming up soon, a concert in your local area, concerts are coming back, right? Foo Fighters had Dave Chappelle at their concert the other night at Madison Square Garden, right? I was doing the Radiohead song Creep. It was just so weird. It's just so weird. But man, if you're going to go check out a concert or sporting events, do yourself a favor. Check out the link in the description below for ticket distributors. Check out their prices. Compare prices before you book. All right. Basically, that's what I'm saying. They're very competitive with all the other secondary ticket markets out there, online markets as well. So go ahead and check them out. Double check your prices. And then book your ticket. All right, let's get back to the show.
Isn't we supposed to be having a SFR?
So I'm going to talk about a few things here. Becky Hammon is getting a second interview with Portland. That makes me a little bit worried. You know, I'm not on the boat that Becky should take the first job she gets. I feel like the fit has to be right. I love the fit in Orlando. I love that they have the possibility to get a couple lottery picks this year that we just talked about. I like that for Becky. Portland, I like the idea of her coaching Lillard. Now, like if Damian Lillard is going to stay and they're like, hey, he's all in with Becky Hammon. Becky Hammon was a fantastic point guard, bro. Becky Hammon knows how to play with the ball in her hands. So I think she can actually come up with a scheme and an offense that can be beneficial for Damian Lillard. But if Damian Lillard is halfway out the door, Becky, please don't go. Please don't go. Becky, it's not a good situation in my opinion. Even if she were to have maybe CJ McCollum and maybe he took a bigger role, I really don't want her to be put into a bad situation. Frenchie Betts puts, I would like Will Hardy a lot. I'm not very worried. Will Hardy, man, he's the guy that has been under the radar this year. I think he had more buzz last season and maybe even the season before, Frenchie, in the head coach, world circuit, trying to get one of those jobs. So yeah, Will Hardy's definitely one of those guys, but I don't want to see Will leave either, man. Like, excuse me, we need some of these we need some of this youth on our coaching staff to stay. Some of these older coaches like Coach Bud and Coach Borrego, and shoot, man, I don't know how all of them are a little bit older when they left the Spurs. They really stuck it out and learned as much as they could before they left. And some of these young coaches on our squad, I want them to stay because our coaches, I mean, our players are young and they need to be relating with these young coaches, right? And because Pop's getting old, but I think Pop's still probably the best communicator out there, right? So I don't ever feel like Pop is not like vibing with the young guys and that Pop is out of tune with the way players are these days. I don't buy any of that, bro. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. It's not about the players in this situation. Any real player would look at Pop and just be like, dude, teach me your ways. So I'm not really worried about that. So Becky, I hope the situation finds her best. I really hope that, I don't want her to just pick a head job just because. I would rather have her stay in San Antonio for another few years, maybe even take over. You never know. Shout out to all the fathers out there. I wanted to mention this earlier in the beginning of the show, snuck away from me. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. You guys are real ones. You guys are the real heroes, man. I'm learning day by day with my newborn, right? Had my first kid back in April. So yesterday was my first Father's Day. So, shout out to you guys, all the Spurs Nation dads out there. You guys rock. We all want our kids to grow up and be like Manu and Timmy and Tony, right? So shout out to all the dads out there. One last thing that we're going to talk about before I go. This is all kind of like off the head, right? The show is mainly about the draft lottery. It's a preview. Go check out the beginning of the show if you're just joining us now. And if you're just joining us now, make sure to smash that like button down below. Chant Go Spurs Go when you do it. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we go live or every time I drop a new piece of content for you guys. I've been kind of waiting. I'm going to save a little bit of this conversation because I want to do it right. I've been waiting to talk about John Collins and his fit with the Spurs because I've been wanting to see the full picture of what he's doing in the playoffs, right? John Collins with the Atlanta Hawks. Before I give my take, I want to see exactly everything he does in this postseason because he's one of the favorites in Spurs Nation. And I'm going to give you a little bit of preview on my take on all that. I'm going to do like a full episode about it later whenever Atlanta gets eliminated, which, shoot, they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, so who knows? But John Collins is going to be a free agent on our board. And my quick take on it is that I don't think he makes us that much better. I think if you plug him in with the young group of guys that we have right now, I don't really see him moving the needle that much for us in the win column and making us better like in a postseason. I think that he is benefiting a lot from the team that he has around him. He's got Trae Young setting him up. He's got Bogdanovich knocking him down, Herter knocking him down. If he comes to San Antonio, it's just a totally different team. Totally different team. So we'll talk about John Collins. I know a lot of Spurs Nation has been wanting me to talk about him and get my take on it. So I'm going to do that, but I want to wait a little bit longer. I want to see him finish off this year in the playoff run. And then that's kind of when I'm going to dive into my free agent board. Cause I have just to let you guys know, all this content I'm doing for the draft, we'll be focusing on free agency a little bit later in the summer because free agency doesn't really start until August, right? Early August, right? First week of August. So free agency, DeMar DeRozan, which player should we spend on, which not. I'm going to be getting into that a lot in July because the draft is July 22nd, right? So we have some time for that too. And so I'm just going to let you guys know right now, those of y'all that are hanging out with us, on Wednesday, I'm going to have OOC partner Harrison Murphy. He's our local, our draft guru over there at OOC, very involved with the college world. Him and I are going to get on here live, and we're going to do a mock draft live for you guys on Wednesday. So make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. I think it's going to be around 8:30 Central Time. Central Standard Time, right? That's probably when we're gonna go live on Wednesday. And then tomorrow, hang out with me and the guys from OOC as we go ahead and watch the draft lottery together live, right? So go ahead and check us out over there. I'll put the link in the description below. Hey guys, I'm really interested in what you guys think of the Prezi that I did, the presentation, the breakdown that I did with my pre-lottery draft board. I want to use Prezi more to engage with you guys and to demonstrate and just use it as a tool on this channel. So if you liked that presentation in the beginning, let me know in the comments because I really want to know if I should keep using it or not. All right, guys. So one last break before we sign off.
Isn't we supposed to be having a festa?
The first 100 members that sign up for the Patreon, the link is in the description below, will receive a free, random, cool Spurs gift in the mail from Spurs Film Room as a thank you for signing up and supporting this channel. You don't just get all the perks and behind the scenes access and voting power and merch discounts and entry giveaways. You don't just get all that. You get appreciation gift from me as well. So again, we got a local artist around here that does some dope NBA style art. He paints literally all over the city that I'm from. He has murals. He has, on buildings. It's just crazy stuff that Valley Artist 66 has going on. And I reached out to him and he agreed to do a original Spurs painting for my members. So right now we have Patreon member. Let me give you a shout out, Frenchie Betts. Appreciate you stopping by. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. Just motivates me, guys, to keep working on this channel and keep grinding out for you guys to keep trying to bring you the best content that I can. Shout out to you guys. Right now, Frenchie Betts is going to take home this painting unless some other Patreon members step in and say something about that. But just to let you guys know, the link is in the description below. All right, let's get back to it.
Isn't we supposed to be having a festa?
Spurs Nation, my international amigos of Spurs Nation, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a lot of fun breaking down the lottery with you guys and what to expect for tomorrow. Spurs Nation, we're looking at the 12th pick. If you're a gambling person, call Vegas and be like, the Spurs are going to move up. There's an 8% chance. You probably make a fortune if it happens, because most likely it's not. Tune in tomorrow. Hang out with me over there at Order on the Court while we do a watch party during the lottery. And then back here on Wednesday, guys, doing our mock draft. So we'll know by Wednesday, we'll know exactly what team is where. And then we can start kind of dissecting even more about which team is going to select which player, right? So that's what we'll be doing here on Wednesday. So hang out with us. Shout out to Spurs Nation. Thank you guys for hanging out. Please, again, smash that like button. Chant Go Spurs Go if you do. Let me know what you guys think about the show in the comments. Let me know what you think about the draft in the comments. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Now, again, join the Patreon. You get behind the scenes access. I'm going to be doing a individual show for my Patreon members, taking their questions and putting that out on YouTube. It's where I'm only answering their questions. So I really appreciate y'all hanging out with us. All right. So go Spurs go. Appreciate you, Sean, for the tip. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. All right. Go Spurs go. See you on Wednesday.